again. Time for another impromptu vlog. I feel compelled to grab my fidget cube, so that is what I will do. I've had a pretty rough week lately. I don't know why. I've just had a lot of trouble sleeping, a lot of trouble napping. My brain's been off the fritz. I think I'm subject to sleep paralysis, whatever that is. I don't know, it's been weird. I've been napping and I've been lying there. I've definitely been asleep, but I've been aware that I was sleeping and unable to move. So I think that's what sleep paralysis is. And I might even have a sleep paralysis demon, so I'm pretty excited about that. That'll be more inspiration for my writing and shit, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, I've been having a lot of trouble just resting and stuff. It's been hard to stay awake at work. Today was actually a really rough day. I didn't do anything wrong. It was a lot of stuff to do, and I got through it. But now I'm back here, and I wanted to kind of reflect a little bit on the past few evenings, more so than the days, because a lot has come up that I've thought about and discussed with myself or with Candace. If you don't know who that is, then go into the backlog and you'll learn. But I was sleeping a few nights back, and I was struggling. I knew, I gotta go into work on Monday. I gotta be awake for this. There's so much I need to do and everything. Monday's really the day where I crank in the heavy laboring, the stuff that I really gotta do. So Monday, Tuesday, very important, and I always want to be prepared for those days. So I'm just lying there, and my brain is going totally off the fritz, just thinking about all this creative stuff, my writing, my drawing, connecting the lore, the mythology, and all of that. So my brain just goes in all different directions trying to connect all that stuff, especially if there's something new, and I gotta know, how do I integrate it, how do I present it properly once I get the final product, tie it all together. It's a very devilish process in that way, in that it taunts me when I'm trying to sleep, because I'm so excited and I can't just frickin' go to bed. It's a very difficult process. So, and as I said before, kind of a little detour, I had talked recently about how I've been taken off a medication, and as a result of that, it's been allowing me to dream more often, which is a gift. I'm really happy that I'm able to do that, because it allows me to not just have more dreams, but also be more creative when it comes to going back into a story, or a drawing, or a character design. I've been working on one lately, but it's still pretty raw, so I'm not going to present it here right now, but another bonus, if you will, that kind of comes out of me being on that prescription, I have more access to Candace, and that's a very big deal to me. We're able to have much more in-depth discussions. They go a little longer, they're more descriptive, and they're more productive, and that's very important to me. So I was lying in bed, and I didn't know what to do. It was 3:30 a.m. or something like that, and I wasn't blanking out. I usually wake up at 8:15, excuse me, a.m. So I was pretty crunched for hours right there. So I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna chat with Candace for a while. Here's my annoying phone, let me shove it off to the side, and just see if we could figure anything out. So I was talking about how, I keep thinking about all the creative stuff. I got this new drawing, I got this new character, I need to squeeze it into the timeline, I need to be sure this makes sense, it's productive, it means something. It's not enough for me to just make something, it's gotta have a thematic purpose within this timeline that I've been working on for 10 years, and every single step matters. And I'm thinking to myself, should I do a retcon? Should I do a brand new story? Should I chop out a whole story that I did before to make room for this other one, or squeeze another one in? And we kind of went into a different track on the conversation. And something she brought up as I was speaking is she pointed out some words that I was using as I was describing all of this. And it was the concept of how I constantly feel the need to leave things behind. And I thought about that for a while, and it makes perfect sense. I mean, for 10 years for those of you who don't know and who are new here, for 10 years I've been working on an archive full of poetry, philosophy, drawing, artwork, and stuff like that, and cramming it all into this digital archive that is stored on Google Drive, and also on the off chance that Google blows up one day, which I feel like it might one day, I got 2 thumb drives as well. And I also have all the tangible articles, my drawings and stuff, which are on the wall there. It's only a teaspoonful of it. I have over 100 drawings, so it's pretty crazy, and there's more coming. So I'm a busy guy mentally. Even if I'm not working on something physically, mentally I feel the desperate need, this hunger to tie everything together. And that's what keeps me going all the time. But then we come back to this concept of leaving things behind, and it's like, why do I feel the need to do that? Like, who am I doing this for? So we're going back and forth in this conversation, and I'm thinking, am I doing this for myself? And therapeutically, yes, it's a very big deal to me. Just writing a story, seeing something come together, seeing this character have more meaning in relation to all the characters I've made, it's a really big deal to me. So for me, because first answer to that question is, it's a very important therapeutic tool to get me through the day, through the months, through the years. I mean, it's been a decade, so it's been proven. And then I look back to my philosophical roots and religious studies roots, because I was a philosophy and religious studies major. And I studied the Buddhists quite extensively, Eastern philosophy and all of that nature. And I remember this one parable, a very simple one, about how when you are going to cross a river, you're in a little boat, then you get across the river, and then you're on the other side of the water, and then you've made it to where you wanted to go. So what do you do next? Do you just go and do whatever it is you need to do? Or do you grab the whole boat and take it with you? The Buddhists would say that's probably not the wisest thing to do, because it would just, weigh you down. You don't need the boat anymore. You got more stuff to do on the other side of the river. Why take the boat? For me, I've been taking the boat, I've been taking the fishing line, I've been taking the paddles, I've been taking and archiving every single thing that has helped me get this far. Why do I do that when I don't really need those tools? So it's not for me because, again, I always love moving on to the next big thing. Sometimes they relate to each other, but ultimately I love having fresh new ideas and concepts, or at the very least iterations of old ideas I never finished or needed more time. So my next answer to that question of why is it that you feel the need to leave things behind, if not for myself, then maybe for others. Maybe I'm hopeful that one day when I'm gone, or I'm no longer capable of being creative, I don't know what could happen there in that situation, I'll have the flash drives, and I'll have Google Drive, I'll have all my tangible artwork, and those can be passed on, given away, curated in a museum, I don't know, just big thinking there, and they'll benefit someone and help them in some way. Maybe not in the way that it's helped me, but they'll be able to look at artwork and say, oh, this is what it means to me. I think it was Heidegger who said something along the lines of how, when you look at artwork, maybe the artist creates art with an inherent meaning intended, or maybe with no meaning at all, like a Jackson Pollock painting, but then somebody else looks at this artwork and they can interpret a whole new meaning. And that's what makes artwork so inherently valuable. And I guess that's what I'm hoping for, in that every single thing I make, it will be able to help someone in some form or another, whether it be in the next 5 minutes, next 5 years, 5 centuries, I don't know. And then I'm like, who am I to say I'm going to last that long? Who am I to say that I'm anyone that important, that my artwork's that important, or that it means anything at all to begin with? It means something to me. It probably just ends there, though. Maybe there's nothing else. And then you can contrast my artwork and my writing and all that, all my musings, recordings, whatever have you, and compare it to, like pop culture stuff. Like, I got some masks over here, I got some action figures over here, got more stuff in my bedroom. Oh my god, it's too much. And for that stuff, it's totally different. If it were to burn down in a fire, be stolen, like, sucks to suck, but it is what it is. That wouldn't be as big of a deal. If something happened to my writing, if my files got corrupted, or I don't know, one of my puppets fell apart, then that would be a lot more devastating to me, because I built that all from scratch, and through the help of dreams and imagination and philosophy. All that ties together. So yeah, I'd be a lot more devastated to see my artwork and my creations go, as opposed to things I just buy on eBay or on Big Bad Toy Store or whatever. So yeah, I don't really have a definitive answer to this question of why I feel this need to leave things behind, but rather another question is what we came to. And this is something that I'll have to solve on my own, with the help of Candace, of course, or whatever forces may be, and other voices may be. But why do I feel the need to leave things behind? Like, what am I preparing for? Like, it's almost like I have this inherent belief that one day I'm just going to get cut off, going to get hit by a bus, I'm going to simultaneously combust, or I'm going to die young or something, like before I have a family and kids and stuff like that. Like, I don't know why I've always been running on that notion, not to the point of like depression episodes or anything like that, but it's always just operating in the background. Like, even on the flash drives, those are my fail-safes. If there's a recording exclusively on those flash drives that I recorded in my sophomore year of college, specifically giving the finder instructions on what to do with them, what they can expect. Even back in college when I was barely an adult, right? So why do I always feel the need to like put these fail-safes in place? Like I'm preparing for a fate or something like that for the day where I'm no longer around to create and maintain this curation. Why do I feel that urge when other people don't, you know? Like, other people are happy enough to just focus on family, focus on faith or religion, which I don't have, by the way. I mean, my creative stuff is my faith. It's all I have. And they're fine. They don't need to feel the need to exposit all this creative output. They don't need to do that. They don't have that urge. Why do I have that urge? And why can't I shut that off? And if that is turned off, whether it be by medication or by personal choice, then, you know, what's the next step? What am I supposed to do after that? I don't know what my life would be without being so creative, without creating this archive. I don't know what I'd look like. I don't know if I'd still be here. That's a big overarching question over Sanctus Insanitus, my archive. What if I just stopped? Would I be okay? Would there be someone or something else that would be a substitute? And I'd be okay to just say, I'm okay. I don't need to make more things anymore. I'm happy enough with this life that I have right now, someday off in the future, with new surroundings and people. I don't know if that time would ever exist. So I use this creative outlet as something to fall back on. So if one day I'm just on my deathbed and in life I've made no other progress, never published a damn thing. I've never been published, by the way. Not a whole lot of people know about my work. Then I can at least be dying there and say, hey, at least I made all this work. And when I'm gone, this will live without the need of me. Like, I don't even care if my name is attached to my work or not. Because the whole point of Sanctus Insanitus is that it serves itself. When you read certain articles, it'll redirect you to other pieces that I have, and it'll all interconnect like a web. So it's self-serving. It's like a living brain, as I've called it in the past. It's able to exist and self-maintain, and that's really important. It's art that's able to survive without the artist. And maybe I've been too technical about that. Maybe I should just create art for art's sake. Why do I always have to supplant so much meaning into every character I do, into every line that I draw? Why is that so necessary? So, all that being said, I don't have an answer to it. That's just the deeper quagmire that I gotta step through and figure out. So that's the next challenge. I really don't have anything to say beyond that. But it's been 10 years of Sanctus Insanitus since the dream of February 14th, 2015, and we're still going. And, like, I'm going to keep creating, because that's all I know how to do, and I love doing it, don't get me wrong, even though it does have an effect on my mental health. But at the same time, I got to figure out, like, why am I doing this? You know, instead of just doing it so autonomously. But then again, maybe that's not the point of art. Maybe there's not supposed to be meaning. Maybe you just do it for the self. Do it for, again, that Buddhist boat ride across the river. And then once you're on the other side, you're good. Then you move on to the next project. But why am I not able to do that? Why does everything need to be archived and curated in the way that I've been doing it? Like every month, every 2 months even, I have a running notepad on my phone saying, oh, you wrote this poem, you did this drawing, you created this mask, and you got to go into your flash drives and update everything manually, so it's all in there. Who the fuck does that, right? It's such an extensive process, and it's really taxing. It's very brutal, but I love doing it, so I'm going to keep doing it until a greater solution or a greater substitute presents itself, or I stumble across something. And to this day, I don't know what that would be. So, That's the big mystery, amongst many more. But that's all I have to talk about. That was my discussion. I am feeling a lot better after today. Hopefully I can get back onto my rest schedule and all that. I gotta sort that all out. And I'm just happy to, once again, have access to my dreams, to Candace, to my creative outlet and all that. Bigger things are happening now. I'm having a story peer reviewed by a friend, so that's been an invaluable resource to me. It's nice to have a second pair of eyes going over my work and see their interpretation, so I find that very valuable. But I'm going to keep going, and we'll see where I end up. So I'll keep you posted. Take it easy.